video is Research Process 3, Annotated Bibliographies. In this video, we will go over what an annotated bibliography is and why students are often required to do them, as well as how to put one together. In addition, we'll look at tips for submitting assignments online. A common assignment that students will encounter is the annotated bibliography. Annotated bibliographies are often used to push students to start working on their research early and to allow the instructor to check that students are finding the right kind of sources. There are two main components to an annotated bibliography: the source, written following correct APA formatting, and the annotation. For the source, all of the bibliographic details are given in APA format. The sources are listed alphabetically in alphabetical order by last name. No bullets or numbering are used. Each source is formatted using a hanging indent. The second component is the annotation. The annotation is the summary. It is a brief summary. The length will depend on the instructor's directions, but I usually require between 50 and 100 words. It's a summary of the source that you are referring to. The annotation is written in full sentences, but not point form. The annotation immediately follows the reference and is indented, but is not a hanging indent. Here is an example of a source with an annotation. The source is formatted following APA 6th edition, and it's followed by the annotation written in full sentences. Note the margins. The source is formatted with a hanging indent. There's a space between the source and the annotation. Then the annotation is block indented. I'm going to show you an example. In this example, an essay proposal is part of the assignment. Most assignments that require an annotated bibliography will also require some form of introduction to the annotated bibliography. Often, you will also be expected to have a descriptive title rather than simply the assignment name, which is what the student in fact did. But a descriptive title is better. So there's your title page, who the assignment is being submitted to, as well as who is doing the submission, the date of submission. Here's the proposal section, so that it includes what the proposal describes what the essay is about. And I lost my mouse. There it is. Your proposal will include your argument or thesis, okay, and perhaps a description. Not all annotated bibliographies will have such a detailed proposal. And here's the annotated bibliography. In the yellow, we have the bibliographic information. Now this example is in MLA style, not APA. Again, you will always ask your professor what style you should use. But the format looks very similar for an annotated bibliography. And then in blue is the annotation, which describes what the source is about and how it will help in the research. Okay, and there's another one, a second entry with the bibliographic information and annotation. When you're submitting assignments electronically, I'm going to give you some tips. One of the key ones is to make sure that your file name includes identifying information such as your last name and first initial. Imagine a professor receiving 50 or more assignments labeled My Essay, or something like that. Instead, get in the habit of labeling your file something like King Proposal Doc. Avoid using spaces and periods in your file names. Never change the file extension name, that's the doc, the letters that appear after the period. If it is a Word document, the letters doc or docx will appear at the end after the period. You do not have to type in the extension yourself. If you're using an Adobe PDF file, then the letters PDF will appear as the file extension. If you change the extension name, many computers will not be able to open the file. Unless you're told otherwise, always submit your assignment as one file. In other words, for a research essay, don't save your reference list and your title page as separate files. Keep everything together in one file. In addition to labeling your file name clearly, make sure your name and relevant submission information is included as part of your document as well. In other words, you need either a title page or a header on the first page of the document. The title page or header, you don't need both, of course, usually must have a descriptive title for your assignment, not simply the assignment name. Should also have your name and student number, the course name, and so on. So here's an example of a title page. So a descriptive title, From Your Television to Digitally Everywhere, The Evolution of Much Music, who it's for, the course it was submitted for, who it's prepared by, the student number, and the date of submission. The other example is the header type. Let me show you what that looks like. So the header refers to just this top section here. It's not the header section of your document. That's where your running head would go in APA format. Okay. The header for in place of a title page includes all the same kind of information: who's it being submitted to, what course it is, the date of submission, the student's name, student number, and then the title just above. Okay, just above the body of your paper. So do be careful that you don't put your header in the header section of the page, as I indicated here. If you put it in here, it's going to appear on every single page, and you don't want that for this component. You only put your running head in the header section. So in this brief video, we looked at annotated bibliographies as a type of assignment and went over the components of an annotated bibliography. Finally, we discussed a couple best practices for naming your files, as well as creating either a title page or a header for your assignments. Thank you for listening.